guitar whenever I had a spare moment. I literally didn't do anything for a decade. I probably didn't even pick up my guitar for a decade.
Wow.
And then I kind of got into it again when my kids were getting a bit older and they didn't need me every second of the day.
Right.
And that's really why I'm doing it now, because my kids are a bit older, 13 and 15. So all of a sudden, my daughter's gone from daddy, 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 daddy every second of the day to give me my dinner and leave me alone. So I have time on my hands again. So yeah, literally, I've stored all this stuff up in my head over the years and my experiences, and I often think about. I'm going to go off on a tangent as you like doing that, but I often think about the Highlander movies and how he says I'm immortal, but it's not very, it's not a good experience. You think,
right.
Surely you can live forever. It must be amazing. And he says, but everyone I've ever loved dies. And as you get older, you have experiences. You have good experiences and bad experiences. And the bad experiences kind of start to build up in your head. And you could imagine if you had 1,000 years of bad experiences, it probably wouldn't be a very nice place to be.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I can imagine not. No.
Yeah. Well, you know what? This is just me. But I thought you were with the Highlander you're leading up to. There's only one. No, there's only one Highlander.
Yeah.
Love it.
So, go ahead, Mike.
So the other question I was thinking of is we talked a lot about so when we were kind of putting together what we're going to say about this and what we're going to tell people about it so they can kind of get it, and we between us came up with industrial post-punk, and the bit we don't really talk much about is the punk bit, and some of the tracks on this album are pure 70s punk to my ears anyway. And it's just, I was at a gig last night actually, and it was the last band in particular, but the whole thing was quite punky, and it got me thinking. I was like, I must ask that tomorrow as well. So I'm guessing you're into that sort of thing, but how do you've got so many different styles and influences and all that, how do you kind of match up that kind of punky bit with the industrial bit? How does that all come together? Is it a fluke? Is it planned? Is it you just play what you like and it comes out like that, or how does that work?
Yeah, the latter. Nothing is planned in my head. I grew up in the 70s. I was born in 67. I grew up in the 70s during the punk era, but I was a headbanger. So I used to go to the school disco with the other grungy-looking people with my denim cut-off, with my Motorhead patch on the back.
Nice.
And we used to stand around waiting for the 3 heavy metal songs to come on. Then we'd go to the nearest speaker, headbang for 3 tracks, and go home. Well, what I wasn't allowed to do because of peer pressure was be into punk, so I was a closet punk.
Right.
So I would be listening to AC/DC, Motorhead, Saxon, Judas Priest, etc. as far as everyone was concerned, but in my own time I was listening to Sex Pistols and some pretty obscure stuff that a friend of mine used to go and buy. There were bands called Crass and things like that not many people heard of, and they did some pretty hardcore punk stuff. So it's just in there in my subconscious, and when I start sort of jamming, depending on what mood I'm in at the time, it just comes out. And my wife thinks I'm a bit crazy, and that's where Growing Old Disgracefully came from. I thought, she says I'm crazy. What does she know?
Yeah.
So she got that song going for me.
Love it. And that one, that's probably the one I'm thinking of. That I was just listening to it earlier. Actually, I was going, that really is pure punk. You gotta love that. So it's kind of, you're a closet punk, and now is the time where it's okay to come out, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, maybe not come out, but yeah, a few months ago, probably a few years ago, I got to the point where I thought, do you know what? I've gone through half a century of my life caring too much about what people think about me, and I literally just thought, I don't give a toss anymore. I'm going to do what the bloody hell I like. I'm not getting any younger. I'm going to enjoy myself. So I'm going to grow old disgracefully for a start. And I'm going to start making music, and I'm going to try and put a band together. And actually, the punkier songs on the album towards the end, they were written with our live gigs in mind, because I love to jump around. I'm absolutely full of energy, and one of the things I want to do, I don't want to play guitar when we go live, because I think it will stop me moving around and it will change the dynamic of the show. What I want to be doing is I want to be in people's faces and I want to be jumping around. So that's why I wrote those songs, to get some energy for the live shows.
It's definitely got bags of energy.
Yeah, right.
I think we said that on the show when we played one. Just like, that was that punk weekend, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. Wasn't that the baseline birthday one too?
It might be. I can't remember. So many classics already.
Yeah, right. So I know we'll use Growing Old Disgracefully as a good transition, so we'll start off with that one. So we're going to get to Juxta. This is Growing Old Disgracefully. Dig this.
1, 2, 3, 4. What does she know? She shut your face and drink your Pinot. I don't want to grow up, it's pointless. I don't care if you take the piss. 'Cause I'm going on disgracefully. Got your business to leave with me. Going on disgracefully. Gotta do it to the very put your feet up and what to do? Let me make you a cup of tea. Let's book a nice saga holiday. You gotta be bloody kidding me! 'Cause I'm going on faithfully. None of your business, I'm leaving me. Going on faithfully.
Juxta, Growing Old Disgracefully. Now, I remember the first time I heard this song, and it did really remind me of old punk, like Ice, Sex Pistols, The Clash, and that sort of thing. And that's what was really cool about it. But just a fusion of different sounds just really kind of stuck out. And so it wasn't, we'll call it your run-of-the-mill, nor should it be your run-of-the-mill punk tune.
No, as I say, I don't really plan what I'm going to do, but all the influences are in my subconscious, and it just comes out. And I was trying to go for a really kind of raw industrial guitar sound with all these songs, and at the time, it just lent itself to like a kind of punk progression up the fretboard. So that's how it came out.
Mike.
Oh, hello. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Did you ask me something?
Yeah, go ahead. I was waiting for the comments on the song.
Oh, right. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Well, I think it's excellent. I mean, I said the other week on the show when we played it, it has got that real kind of 70s punk vibe, and it's the one that it's interesting that you said you wrote that to play live, because that's the one that gets you jumping up and down. And there's a few like that on the album. I'm guessing that they're the ones you thought, these are the ones where I'm going to go nuts on stage. So it's really cool. But yeah, I think as you said, it's not like it's got the energy of punk, and it's got the fast bar chords, but it's by no means kind of as simple or as classic. It's it's got a nice couple of layers of complexity, which I really like about that. So yeah, and that's one of my favourites actually off the album. Very good track indeed.
Right on. So getting to the next, we'll call it set of questions here. I know we already kind of talked about you recording a little bit. You said you kind of put some stuff down ahead of time, and then kind of put the headphones on. It kind of comes to you. Now, are any of the songs preconceived at all, like lyrically, or an idea in mind, or is it all just kind of fly by the seat of your pants?
Yeah, fly by the seat of my pants. Basically, I kind of got into a routine last year where I'd get the instrumental down, and then I was going through a stage of waking up really early, kind of 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Probably because I was thinking about these songs, and it was driving my head crazy and waking me up. But the good thing is, I really love that time of morning because the whole family's asleep. It's pitch black. I can stick my headphones on. The dog comes and sits next to me, and then I kind of the only thing I think about is, right, I need a subject for this song. And quite often, if I listen to some music, the lyrics kind of fall out of the music, if you know what I mean.
Right.
I've done quite a few collaborations with other artists on SoundCloud, and I tend to contact someone because I'll listen to one of the instrumentals that they've created, and the lyrics just start coming out. I can hear them in my head as soon as I listen. So that's the way I tend to work. And as soon as I've got a subject matter for a song, then it's usually about an hour and I've got the lyrics down. So there is no plan.
Well, it's just interesting to me because, obviously the songwriting process will vary from person to person and band to band. And it's always interesting to me to see how it comes about, just because that way in particular. I mean, I personally, if I can write anything like that, I obviously I don't always sit down with a preconceived idea, but a lot of times I can't do anything unless I'm kind of, we'll call it, struck with the inspiration. But if I am, I got to kind of do it right then and there, because if I don't, I'll lose it and it won't sound as nearly as good as it sounded initially in my head.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I know what you mean. I've quite often sat in the car and I've been listening to something that's new on Spotify or something, and the lyrics start coming into my head then, and I was thinking, this song, it could be bloody awesome if I could get this down. By the time I got home, forget it. I don't even know what I was singing. So I'm just grateful that I see these lyrics seem to be coming out of me at the moment, and I hope it continues. And I think I need to just get out about, 1,000 songs as quick as I can before this process dries up.
Well, I mean, at least you're having fun doing it now. Are you going to be doing like any shows at all, or is this all going to be kind of home recordings?
The plan was to do shows, and I had some friends that I managed to. We were ready, and I just about got our first show lined up. But unfortunately, they're too busy with family themselves, and they kind of say, "Well, we don't want to let you down because we can't guarantee that we're going to be able to do that many shows." So at the moment, I'm going out and doing open mic nights and doing a bit of acoustic stuff just to try and get some of that experience and get out there, which was bloody terrifying to start with. But I want to try and put a band together again. I'm even thinking about, maybe I should record an album of stuff that is just synth, electric drums, and me singing, and then I just need one other person that I need to rely on.
Well, that'd be cool. But coming to a live show might be a little bit more difficult. It could be all about the timing, eh?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't really thought about it that far. I don't think about things in too much detail, really. I mean, if I can find somebody that can play electronic drums and a synth, I can definitely write music for it, and maybe play guitar on some of it, and then other bits I won't. But I don't tend to think too much about the things that might not work. I just think positively that it will work.
Right.
I think the nice thing is, when we're talking about what's the plan and where do we think this is going to go and all the rest of it. I think the nice thing was you kind of came up with this idea that you're kind of you're a little bit like David Bowie. You can work with one group of people for one thing and another for another, and bring a synth in, bring a cellist in for one show or whatever. You can probably do whatever. You've got the kind of flexibility within it. So, you might have a band that you get together and